So today we're going to talk about parabolas. So I know that there's no parabola that's going to look like this one, right? Parabolas don't have pointy edges like this, but I can see that it's a curve, so I know that at least for part of this, I'll be able to make a curve. So I typed in my parabola equation here, and I remember that the A is the part that tells me how skinny or stretched out it is. H tells me how much I move it left and right, and K tells me how much I move it up and down. So I'm just going to type in the number 1 here, 0 here, and 0 here, just like normal, and I see that orange line pop up. So I know that I want to move it to the left side if I'm going to try and make this side as close as I can over here. So I'm going to move it towards the left, so I know that x is moving the opposite way, so instead of -10, I'm going to type in +10, maybe something like that. I'm going to try and pull it down a little bit, so I'm going to pull my k, subtracting maybe 15. So -15, and I can see that line comes up that way. From there I want to stretch it out, so I don't want it to be skinnier, and I remember that if I put a 2 here, it gets skinnier. So I'm going to try 1/2. That's looking better, but not quite there, so I'm going to try 1/3, a little bit better, 1/4, a little bit better, 1/5, even looking better there, and maybe 1/6. That looks almost perfect. It looks like I want to move it over a little bit. I want it to line up with that purple one. And right now it's at -10. I might try to move it over here to maybe -9. I'm going to try 9. And that's looking pretty darn good. So notice it gets really off right down here. So I'm going to start to cut it off right about here. And then I'm also going to cut it off at my -20 mark. So you guys obviously can watch my restrictions video, but we want to go from -20 all the way to, what did we say? We said we're going to cut off right about here, so we might try like -14. Well, that equation is getting long. So we can see that that line is created there. When I take this away, it's not very clean yet, but it's getting there, right? So I can start to make it a little possibly skinnier, and I can start to mess with it to see what happens. It's looking like 7 might be a better fit for that, right? I can do this and I can go through with my numbers, but just like on our straight lines, we also have the possibility of creating dials, right? So what that looks like is something like this. So let's say that I'm typing my equation in. Sorry, we're going to do plus just for kicks around here. And then we have plus k, and it pops up, and then we are going to add those sliders. So we're going to add all of them. And the sliders just allow you to sort of move it around in a bunch of different ways. So let's say I want to move it this way. I can't reach there, so I'm going to press 10. I'm going to put some arbitrary large number over there, and that allows me to keep moving it towards 40. So here I'm going to come down at my 10. I'm going to come down. Again, I hit that spot, so I want to go bigger than that. I'm going to go -40 again. Now I'm able to move it down such like this. And then I might try something like moving this out. Notice that it gets really flighty, so I might have to start typing things in like 0.1. What's smaller than that might be 0.09, right? Something like that. And then I can still keep moving it around here until I find what I want. Ultimately, I might find like 0.3 works after I've played with it a little bit, and I have 10.4, something like that. And I can see that gives me a nice easy curve that goes right around my line. I'm going to cut it off. So I'm going to make sure that, oh, before I do that, I don't want these things to move, and I can see that if I click out of here, now my A slider has totally gone away. It's taken away my line. So I'm going to turn that A slider back on, change it back to 0.3 where it was. And I want to actually replace this number with my a. So I'm going to take that out and put 3. Now, when I take that a away, it doesn't disappear because it's permanently 0.3. My h is 13, so I'm going to type in 13, and my k is negative 10.4. Now I can get rid of those sliders, just like that, and I can set my restrictions, negative 20, less than x, right? That is going to start it at negative 20, and I want to go to maybe right about here when it starts to take off, so negative 16. We go negative 16, right? And I can see that I have that line there. It's a nice, easy curve, and I have this guy here. All right, so we can start to see, we're starting to see our shield. Woohoo!